Hello. Today, we are going to jump into how dwindling trust and in today's society, how all of this impacts you and how the power skills that I've been talking about, what that looks like in this environment, and the power of community around that, right? So, back in, I don't know what year the book was published, but Robert Putnam wrote a book called Bowling Alone. And in this book, he talked about how trust has been dwindling and he related it to bowling leagues. And, used to in the 40s and 50s and even into the 60s, right? And even into the 70s, there were these big bowling leagues. I can remember my grandparents were part of these bowling leagues where every week groups of people in the community got together and went bowling together. And as time went on, you just don't see that anymore, right? I mean, there may be a couple of bowling leagues, but they are nothing like what they used to be. This used to be something that families did together, that couples did together, that communities, neighborhoods, et cetera, did together. And what he found was that it correlated with the dwindling amount of trust that we have. And he was talking particularly in the US. And the reality is, this has become a worldwide phenomenon. In the 1960s, what he found was that 70%, there was a 70% level of trust in the world, trust of our governments, trust of our neighbors, etc. And as the 60s moved in and the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, et cetera. And for some of you, you're like, what, 60s, 70s? That's like, I don't even know anything about that. And that's okay. What is important to get away from this is that trust is dwindling. In the 60s, it was at a 70% trust level. And today, that trust level is at 20% or less. You get that? We have a level of trust of the people around us of less than 20%. Okay. So if we take that and we look at what that means, and the reason that the book was called Bowling Alone is because people went from doing the bowling leagues to bowling alone, right? Maybe it's a couple that went or just a few friends, but there wasn't this big league where teams were competing against each other from the community, and it was just this big community-wide event. Now it's small groups or couples who go bowling together, and there aren't as many bowling alleys and that sort of thing. So hence the name Bowling Alone, because the vast majority of people are not doing it the vast majority of people aren't bowling anymore anyway. And the vast majority of people aren't doing it as part of a league. I think maybe I know one person that is part of a league, and I don't know any of the people that are part of the league with that one person. So, that gets to the core of our way of being. All right. So who am I and what am I? Why am I talking about this? I'm Angela W. Stillwell, CEO of Untapped Strengths. And one of the major things that I work with my clients, both individual clients and corporate clients, on is leadership transformation. I take individuals and help transform them into the top 1% leaders. And I take teams and transform them into powerhouses. And I do this through several different things. Over the last few weeks, you may have seen some of the videos that I did around what I call power skills. Historically, these have been called soft skills. And these soft skills, AKA power skills, are what bring about trust. Okay. It is integrity, it's empathy, it's emotional intelligence, those sorts of things, right? You get to build trust. One of the things that I talk about is that in order to influence people, you must first connect with them. And the way to connect with them is through these soft skills. But there's another piece to all of this that's super important. And I want to refer to a quote that Jim Rohn, I believe it was Jim Rohn, who said, "You become just like the 5 people that you spend the most time with." Okay. And there was a quote in the book, and it referenced a study from that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, where if you have a friend who is obese, you have a 57% chance of also a 57% increase in chance of you also becoming obese. That is scary. That is freaking huge. So think about this. Jim Rohn says you are like 5 people. Sorry about that. Real life, right? You are like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if spending time with someone who is obese increases your probability of also becoming obese by 57%, 57%. How does it impact everything else that you have going on in your life? When people talk, are they positive? Are they negative? Are they growth mindset? Are they scarcity mindset? Are they do they have huge money stories? Do they say things like filthy rich, right? If your friends are using phrases like filthy rich, what is that doing to your thoughts around money? Look, your brain is taking all of this in, and it is making up its own meanings and its own stories all the time. That's the way our brains work. They were designed for surviving, not thriving. And in today's environment, if you look back over just the last few years, think about how much has shifted just in the last few years. The level of fear has increased exponentially. And if the people that you are hanging out with are being driven by those fears, then the odds of you being driven by fears goes up exponentially. Okay? So if you look at the things that are happening, like the quiet quitting, anybody hear that phrase? Quiet quitting. What the heck does that even mean? Right? So quiet quitting is something where people are, they are, instead of like leaving a job, they're just not doing as much. They're not taking on as much responsibility. The time clock gets to 5 p.m. or 4:30 or 4 o'clock or whatever that time is, and they are out the door. They're not taking ownership. They're not taking responsibility. They're not necessarily expanding their own power skills, right? They're not thinking about the whole team. They're thinking about themselves, and they're shutting down and not pushing the whole agenda forward. Now, what does this mean as a business owner, as a team leader, or as a CEO of a company? What it means is that you have an opportunity to build community so that the whole community around you believes in the vision, which means you get to be really clear on your vision. You get to be really clear on the purpose. You get to be really clear on the goals. You get to be really clear on the direction that you're wanting to go. So if this is true in business, it is also true personally. And that is one of the main reasons why I have started developing a community of like-minded individuals. So what is this community going to look like? Well, you know what? I want a community of people who are very much like me. I'm an extroverted introvert, right? I'm one of these people. Yes, I go and I speak on stages. Yes, I do live broadcasts. Yes, I can go out and communicate with people all the time, but where I get my energy is my downtime. It's my alone time. I love you people. I do. I love you. And I love my alone time. And that's where I get my energy. So in this community, I see like-minded people. I see people who are wanting to be part of that 1%, be part of that escalated level of leadership, elite leadership, not elitism, elite leadership. What does that look like? Well, it looks like people who are holistically holistically improving themselves financially, spiritually, professionally, relationally, right? Your physical health, on and on and on and on and on. So if you are likely or 57% increase of becoming obese if you spend time with someone who is obese. What are the odds if you spend a lot of time with someone who is obese? What are the odds of you improving and getting closer to that top 1%, that elite leadership in whatever realm, right? Maybe you're a mom and your job is to raise little leaders, right? Maybe you are a team manager and you get to manage, maybe it's a sales team, maybe it's an operations team, whatever that looks like. And you want to up level your skills. You want to make sure that you are showing up fully. Because listen, the only way that you can show up fully is to keep your cup full. And keeping your cup full means that you're surrounding yourself with people who are constantly keeping their cups full. Okay. So how does this dwindling trust, all of this impact you day to day, right? How does that impact you? It impacts how people perceive you. It impacts how people perceive the offers that are put out there. It impacts community. It impacts your home life, right? When there is a dwindling amount of trust, and then you have just those few people that you trust, you better dang well make sure that those few people that you trust are people who have your best interest in mind. And your best interest isn't always what the people who live in your home want to see, because once you start changing, it makes them uncomfortable. It makes your family uncomfortable, typically, unless you have a whole family of high performers, right? But when you start changing, it causes the people around you to become uncomfortable. So you get to surround yourself with people who believe in your vision, who can support your vision, who can say, go after the different pieces of that elite 1%. Okay. Again, financially, relationally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, your career, your community. You want people who are looking at it holistically surrounding you. You want people you can trust. You want people who are operating from a place of integrity. How many of us believe that the vast majority of people who are called leaders are operating from a place of integrity? I know I don't. I don't believe it. What about you? So this whole thing of dwindling trust and how it impacts you, I want you to think about, my challenge for you is to spend some time thinking about, what is my level of trust of the people who are around me all the time? What is my level of trust of my community? What is my level of trust of the government? What do I believe the level of trust is of people who look to me for answers? Think about those questions. And then I want you to think about why it matters. Who are you to even think that you may be influencing others? Because you are, and others are influencing you. Here's the thing. Your subconscious brain, your subconscious mind is absorbing everything that's going on around you. You make your decisions 80 to 90% of the time or more based on these subconscious thoughts that you have. And these subconscious thoughts are developed by the people that you surround yourself with. They are developed by childhood experiences. Some may be traumatic, right? And so you've put meaning to, maybe it's religion, maybe it was school, maybe it was whatever, and you've put meaning to different events. And when things occur in your life, when situations occur in your life, you are filtering it through your lens of those past experiences. Okay? Those past experiences that were surrounded by the people that are impacting every decision you make. Now, you get to choose what it looks like going forward. What does that look like for you going forward? Okay? Because you can take control of those subconscious thoughts. You can rewrite how you put meaning to it, the beliefs that you have that are impacting everything that you are deciding, acting on, and the results that you're getting. You have the ability to do that. Isn't it time? Isn't it time for you to say, yes, I want that? Yes, I'm doing that. I saw a post by Jesse Itzler, and in their house, and he and Sarah Blakely's household, the word can't is not allowed. It's either I will or I am. No one in the household can use the word can't. I can't. I will. I will not. I am. I am not. Okay? It's not I can't. So, what is it that you will do? What is it that you are doing, no matter what, to ensure that you get to the level of leadership that will be most impactful for your vision and your dreams? If you're interested in being part of a community where there is mutual support, mutual goal building, special speakers that will come in and speak to different aspects of that top 1%. If that's something that you're interested in, comment below or send me a DM, and I'll let you know a little bit about what we're planning to do in this community. All right. So, can't wait to hear from you. Comment below or send me a DM. And remember, just like Jim Rohn said, you are the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And if that person, if one of those people is obese, just like the study showed in the New England Journal of Medicine, if that person is obese, you have a 57% probability of also becoming obese. That's how impactful your community around you is. That's impactful. That's powerful. Keep that in mind. Okay. All right. I can't wait to hear from you. And I will see you again next Wednesday at noon Eastern. And if there's anything that I can do for you in the meantime, feel free to comment below or send me a DM. If there's some particular topic around this that you would like for me to dive into, I'd love to hear from you. You can comment below or send me a DM. Can't wait to connect with you guys. And I will see you next week.